What's up, everybody? And today we're taking a look at the Marvel Legends VHS 2-pack. It just came out with the Doctor Strange and Morbius. So let's take a look at them. Of course, taking a look at the box first. So the box here does not look too bad, to be honest. It's a pretty good looking box. It's your usual kind of VHS box with the, very nice Spider-Man font on the box, on the front there of the box. And your two kind of little designs of the characters there with Doctor Strange and Morbius looking pretty nice. And on the side, pretty much the same old stuff, using that 90s style of packaging from the old Toy Biz days. Same with the top. On the back, you got your, shots of the figures there with the nameplates and everything. And on the side here, you got the VHS look. So that's pretty much it for the box. Pretty nice. And of course, here are both the figures that come in the 2-pack. So let's take a look at one individually, then we'll take a look at the next one. This 2-pack is okay. I think it's a little bit mid at first here, but, I did just get it for the one figure. But let's take a look at Morbius first, since, he's pretty much the only reason I did kind of get this box set. Now, this Morbius figure, it's got some good, it's got some bad, but I'm pretty happy with it, or as happy as I'm going to be able to get with Hasbro nowadays when it comes to certain figures. But let's just take a look around on him, and as you can see, there's a little bit of purple paint on my jacket. To me, it's not a big deal. Kind of makes it look cell shaded in a way, but at the same time, it's kind of bothersome sometimes. But in certain lights, it doesn't look too bad. Of course, on the inside there, you got purple paint job there. Very nice paint for the shirt and whatnot. Same thing with around here. This purple really is nice. Doesn't go all the way up. It fades up towards the top, but it does look pretty nice. Very nice sculpted legs. Very shiny boots. He does have pinless joints as well too, at least on the legs. And but the white paint here on the arm, it's a little bit lacking. Could have used another coat. But that's just what happens when you paint white on black. And as you can see here, the pinless joints, those joints up here are pinned, which is a little bit weird. But most of this is just reuse from other figures, so it makes a little sense. Like this jacket, I know is a Nick Fury jacket, and I think it was used for a Gambit figure, I believe. This jacket's been used a lot. But yeah, the arms look like they're reuse. But of course the head's not reuse. And I really do like this head. But there are some issues. Like, I know a lot of people are saying that the head is maybe a little bit too big, and then he has big head syndrome. I can see it a little bit, but it's not too bad. And just getting a close-up look at that face there, this, it captures the 80s, not 80s, the 90s series style and aesthetic of Morbius. I think it catches it pretty well. I really do like the gradient with his hair. Like, I don't know, like, whatever they did with his hair, like, they did a good-ass job. I like how, it's, like, swaying to, like, one side, but at the same time, and as you'll see in the accessory section, kind of wish there was something a little bit more with this guy. But bringing in the box here, as you can see, I really do wish we could have a hairstyle that, wasn't windswept, which is kind of slicked back, just to, have, like, a normal look, because now it's just going to look like the wind is constantly blowing on him. But, it is a very nice, like, color. Like, I don't know if you can see, but it just looks like there's, like, some, like, shading in there or something. Oh, it just looks really good in my opinion. Obviously, you got the kind of goatee there. Very, very nice paint work on the head. But yeah, he doesn't have too much. Obviously got shiny boots and everything. He does also have these kind of sculpted little suction cups on these hands. Now, if you don't know, and I'm going to focus it in here just to give you a good look on them. Now, if you didn't know, in the 90s show, basically there were a lot of rules that they couldn't do. Like, they can't do real guns, and they can't have him suck blood either, so what they had to do was they had to give him these suction cup hands, and basically that's how he would kind of, like, drain life force and kind of, suck and feed on people. So he wasn't really a vampire, which was a little interesting. He has the teeth and everything, but he has to suck through his hands. I know, it's a little bit weird, but, it's not too bad. I do think these hands are pretty nice, although he could have used maybe longer claws or maybe something else, but he's not too bad. It's pretty decent in my opinion. So, as far as accessory goes, well, with head sculpts at least, this is the only head sculpt he gets, which kind of sucks because I would have loved to see another head sculpt with him, but, I guess they just really cheaped out on this pack. And as far as fists go, or hands, he just has these suction hands, which are only sculpt specific for him, so that's it. And he has these fists, but, these fists aren't specific to him, so I don't really count them as his accessories because, well, they're just normal civilian hands, just in white. So there's no claws, no suction cups, they're just white hands, and it's just a bit weird, and it just feels like he was severely, just cheaped out on, just for the sake of making the character. And I know it's just Morbius, but at the same time, you could have, these are VHS 2-packs, you could have done a little bit more. But he does look pretty good with, my animated Spider-Man, and, it's not a big deal. He's not my favorite villain. Now, getting into the articulation, his head can look up about that far, can look down about that far. He does have some side to side, and his head can spin a full 360. And as for the arms, no butterfly joints, but his arm can go up about that far. He does have full rotation. He has a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that are pinned. He does have a swivel and hinge at the wrist, like all Marvel Legends do. And as for the waist here, he just has a single ab crunch. Can crunch forward about that far. Can't crunch back at all due to the kind of coat. He does have a waist swivel right there. And as for the legs can kick up about that far. Kick back, not so much. Does have a thigh swivel. And he does have double jointed pinless legs, like so. And as far as the foot area, he does have a boot cut. And as far as the foot, you can go down about that far, up about that far, and he does have ankle pivot. So he's pretty decently articulated. You can get him into the poses you want, but he's alright. Now let's take a look at Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange, this figure, and I thought Morbius was being cheaped out on, but man, this figure is just, God, I hate it. I really don't like it. I like the cape. Don't get me wrong, I like the cape, but I do not like this figure. So let's just take a look here. Some of the good stuff about him. I do like the paintwork and stuff. I think paintwork's really good on him. Except for the head, but I'll get to that. I really do like this, just the way this cape looks with the edging. Yeah, that's right. I said edging. Go ahead. You can do it. But anyway, I like the edging on this cape, and it just looks really, really nice. I like the design. I like the color they went with. It's like this, gold, but it's like a weird, shimmery, iridescent gold. It's just really interesting, and obviously the Eye of Agamotto there. You got these nice looking little tassels and everything on him. I mean, he has got some bland spots. He doesn't have whole lot of paint on him, but, the paint that is on him does look pretty cool. You see here, you can kind of stretch out these little tassel things. I really do like the paint on his chest. I think it is painted pretty well. But this head sculpt is something that we have to talk about. So, let's bring in the box here, and let's take a look at this head sculpt, because this head sculpt sucks, and it's an obvious cheap out. So, as you can see, the animated right there on the box, that is the animated Doctor Strange. But as you can see with this head here, it's completely wrong. This is not animated Doctor Strange. What they basically just did is they took another Doctor Strange head that they had just probably laying around, and they just slapped some white paint on the hair, some really messy white paint, and they even got the mustache wrong. So, I mean, look, you can see the white just goes all the way on the side, just slapped on. It just does not look right. This is not how he looked. The hair sculpt is off and wrong. And, like, as you can see, the mustaches are different. And if I bring it in closer, you can see there's a breakaway in the mustache right there. On here, it's just one full-on mustache. Like, really? How could you get that wrong? And it just shows that they really cheaped out, like, on this whole entire box set, to be honest. This whole box set is just cheaped out on. And it really sucks. And another thing, too, which I will get more into the articulation segment, is you cannot do anything with this cape. This cape is way too stiff. And you can't really pose him around a lot. He's, like, just a big-ass brick. And, I know it's a little bit negative, but, still. Yeah, so let's get into accessories. So, as far as accessory goes, zooming in the camera here, he comes with these two kind of, magic casting hands, standard Doctor Strange stuff. But along with the magic casting hands, he, of course, comes with these magic effects, which don't look too awful. They're just, your basic kind of magic casting effects, so there's really nothing too special about them. You kind of just, put them in and just kind of shove them on in, and they just kind of hook around. They can hook around on, like, 2 different sections if you want. But yeah, they just kind of hook around like that, and these effects kind of are just mid, in my opinion. They're okay, they're just mid. There's the usual effects you'd get with a lot of different figures, and they're a pain in the ass to get on sometimes. But yeah, that's the best I'm gonna do for right now. But he does come with that, and he does come with some fists, which are okay. I guess they are just kind of fists. Let's talk articulation. So as far as articulation goes, a lot of hindrance. But anyway, for the head, you can look down about that far. It does have the disc hinge. But if you can get it down, he can look about that far. You can look up about that far. It does have some side to side, but you can't swivel it all the way around because of the cape. It's okay, I guess. Now, as far as the arms, that's as far as they go. That's as far as they go with the cape. That's all you get. And yeah, you can't get any further. That's as far as it goes forward. And he has no bicep swivels, which is crazy. No bicep swivels on a Legends figure. But he does have a single joint at the elbow with a swivel, so I guess that kind of makes up for it. And as far as, the hands, it's the usual, swivel and a hinge on a Marvel Legends figure. As far as the ab crunch, you can crunch forward about that far. You can crunch forward almost not at all. It does have a waist swivel right there. And if you notice, there's little dents and dings in the hip area because, well, when you lift the leg up, because of how cheap this stuff is, it just dings. But anyway, has a thigh swivel, double jointed knees that are pinless, boot cut, foot goes up about that far, down about that far, and he does have an ankle pivot. So he is very, very limited. For a Sorcerer Supreme, very limited, so you can't really get him in a lot of interesting poses, unfortunately. But, oh well. Pretty mid, but let's get on to some scale. So, as far as scale goes, these guys are not too bad as far as scale goes. But, so we're going to scale them next to some other animated Spider-Man characters. So, first up here is, of course, gotta bring in the animated Spidey. So, animated Spidey here, I think he fits pretty well. These figures fit pretty decent next to them. Definitely with the Morbius. Doctor Strange seems short. And as far as some other, characters from the animated series, here is Mary Jane. Not looking too bad. Here is Shocker. It was kind of hard to get scale in the animated show a little bit sometimes, but I think it works out pretty decent. Here is my animated Venom, the SDCC one, right there. So I think that that could fit, I believe. But anyway, let's move on to some final thoughts. So, some final thoughts about this box set. It's mid. It's pretty mid. So, obviously, Doctor Strange is probably the worst one. I did just want to get this box set for, Morbius anyway. But I wish Morbius had maybe a pair of hands that were more so his, rather than just a reuse. I mean, he's like mostly reused, but at least most of the reuse works. I wish he had another head sculpt. Another head sculpt would have been really nice to have with him, but unfortunately, I guess beggars can't be choosers. Which really sucks because I would have loved a little bit more with him, but all in all, he's the best out of the box set. Now, Doctor Strange. Awful. I mean, I like the colors on him. It's just his articulation is so limited by that cape. His head sculpt is completely off. Like, the only thing wrong about him is that head sculpt and, like, his articulation when it comes to the cape and maybe some of the materials he's made out of because he dings up quickly. I don't know. He looks nice next to Spidey, but it's definitely a figure I will not be keeping. He's okay, and, probably by the end of me posting this video, Doctor Strange will have been gone, but I'm glad I have the Morbius. But anyway, that's it for this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.